everybody, I'm Lauren.
I'm Emma.
And you're listening to the Oakview. Hi, Emma.
Hey, Lauren, what's up?
Nothing much. Hello, everybody.
Hello, friends. Welcome back to another beautiful episode of the Oakview. I'm in a very playful mood today.
Yeah, so serene. Like, I feel calm now.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Oakview. Sit back, get some water.
And relax.
Put on some candles. If you listened to last week's, you know we're not really into candles.
Okay, what are we going to talk about today?
Well,
you had some things that you want to tell me.
I have so many updates for you, and I just thought I'd just start off with all of them.
I know. It's so hard to talk when we're not recording.
I know. We do our best.
We're always like,
hey!
We're like, oh, I'm going to tell you something on the podcast.
I'm like, oh yeah, shush your mouth, Emma. You can't reveal the things that are super important right now.
So I'm dying to know.
Okay, first of all, I'm going to start off by singing you a song about
Please
my day.
do.
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
Here we go. Let's see if this can turn out well. Woke up this morning, very tired, so I sat in my bed and answered emails. Didn't get up till 9 o'clock, took a shower and got back into bed. I thought today was gonna be good, but then all of a sudden, notifications, ding, 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 ding. Maybe I should actually sit on the couch or a chair because I'm overwhelmed by all this excitement. I was very needed today.
Hallelujah.
That's the end of my song. That's the first update. I had a very long day. It was just a lot of different parts moving. I have a couple projects going out to bid in a couple weeks, and it takes a lot of energy out of me, but it's going swell. A lot better than it was the last time we talked, because let me tell you, I was going to kill someone.
And here we are.
And here we are. Okay.
Last time we talked, we had a good conversation. We talked about, this is something that we kind of wanted to talk about today, was just the idea of being your own person, making your own opinions. What else did we talk? Like, please finish my sentence here.
Yeah, it's basically about having your own mind. So, like, what are some habits that we can be more in control of and maybe develop better? And maybe things that we don't even do that we'd like to do to make ourselves more in control of our mental health and it's kind of scary because I was telling my friend about this after Lauren and I talked, and I said, have you ever thought about how most of your opinions are kind of controlled and skewed by your social life and society? And he was like, well, that makes sense because your environment influences your life. But I was like, no, like, true,
Controls
yes. It controls it. Like, we're in the consumerism lifestyle, capitalist world, blah, 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 blah. But it's like we don't even realize it's happening versus like when we're influenced by something and we know of that.
And it's every aspect of your life, and it starts with your family and then the environment, you know, like your region, your area, the population, and it shapes exactly who you are. So it's kind of funny, you know, how like generations are all connected and have really similar opinions and all hop on trends and stuff just because of these things.
You don't even realize it. At least I cannot say that like my parents' generation equals this, right? There's no way that they are as addicted to their phones as we are. But I was telling Lauren the other night, I'm trying to watch a movie that I love, a movie that I could watch every single day. But then I picked up my phone and then I was like, Emma, no, like watch the movie. And then I picked up my Switch. I started playing video games and I was like, what is wrong with you? Like, can you not just like sit and do one thing at a time?
You have to be like overstimulated. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm literally bored.
Okay, but you're like a background movie watcher.
I feel like that's like offensive, but you're right.
How would that be offensive? Some people can like do, I can't do background TV or background, like I will be consumed. I get sucked in.
Oh, see, that makes sense. Okay. Well,
like
I can't do anything that I've never seen before. Does that make sense? Like I can't do anything that's
but like you're a person who can just, I know this because like a few weekends ago I told this to Tim and I said like, why don't I ever just like rewatch movies that I like in the background? Like I don't have to see every second. I've already seen it and I could just, you know, like walk around the house and clean and just have this movie on, or I could do a puzzle or whatever, and I can't. Like, you can do that. I know that
Really?
you do that while you get ready in the morning or whatever, and you can just like throw in a movie for 20 minutes. I can't do it. I get sucked in, and then I just get I don't know why I have to.
That's
like,
very interesting because
isn't that funny?
I'll put on like, Avatar or The Office or Friends or, TV shows that I can like just sit through, Big Bang. I did that the other night. I'm packing my house, moving, whatever. And I just had Big Bang on the background and I just was fine. I don't, it's comforting to me. Is that weird? It's
No,
just,
it's not weird. It's just,
but is it healthy? I don't know. Different question.
I would, oh, I don't know.
And I'm wondering is just because like we're so used to being surrounded by that kind of.
And even when I'm on my phone, I'm consumed by my phone. Like, Tim will try to say something to me and I'm like, what? Right?
But think about it. Like, we're in the new era of TikTok, right? So like things are ever evolving. We're constantly watching content now. Like, YouTube used to be it, but like YouTube is too long. We're in this like really short, systematic, repetitive reel. That's how I feel like we're doing.
Yeah. So I think I like this conversation
Mhm.
at a minimum. I do not love this conversation. I'm not like excited about this.
This is not really appealing to you. What do you think would make
I'm
this
just
better?
being honest with you.
No, I like honesty. I'm just curious, what do you think would change this?
Well, if we could talk about not like blanket statements, because originally we were going to talk about the decisions that you make, why you make them, your thought process of just like things in general. How are you your own person? What makes you, what factors, what's your decision making line? What are your absolutely not fair game? Am I making any sense?
You are. I just think I needed that prompt in order to go down that road.
But I want you to be excited about whatever we're talking about too. And if you were excited about what we were talking about, I don't want to like rain on your parade.
No, I don't think you're raining on the parade. I think if anything, this can be a continuation.
I don't know.
Do you want to start over?
No, I don't. No, we can just keep going. I just think let's just pivot the conversation to be more about, because I'd rather talk about like, I don't know, not influence, because I feel like the things that we're saying are just not groundbreaking.
Absolutely.
I feel like a Facebook post from an old man, like, kids today. And I think that parts of it were fine and were good. I just,
okay, then like let's make like this
it
moment.
wasn't like fun and energetic.
Sure, I hear you. I want to be logistic, and I want to say like, where are we stopping, and how are we getting to the next point? Because then I can hear it in your voice how bored you are.
I'm not bored. I just like, I don't know. My own opinions are like in like a wall in front of my voice.
Right. I know.
I just know what I don't like. I just know what I don't enjoy listening to other people talk about. Like, I just feel like there's nothing that can be said that's not already said. I don't know. I feel like pretentious right now. I feel like
there's some reservation you have right now. I think you're really concerned about what like.
No, I'm not. It's just like, I don't know why. I just like don't.
Do you not care because you've had this conversation before? Like, is it
I
like
haven't even had this conversation.
But is it like the TV thing? The TV thing? This would make a lot of sense as to why you can't watch a movie in the background.
What do you mean?
Because like you need to be focused in on something. Like, you can't just let it happen. Like, you're describing a very real moment where like your body is not letting you speak freely because you don't feel like you can
concentrated in it.
Yeah.
But I just feel like, I don't know, it's not, you're right. Like, I haven't like had this conversation out loud. It just seems like the obvious. It feels like a surface level, and that I feel like there could be something more interesting to dive into within that. Yeah, like, I feel
absolutely.
Like the topic is great, and we can say like, people talk about this often. We know what the top level, assumptions are, but maybe I'm assuming that everybody talks about social media influence in their life.
I just don't think people care enough to talk about it.
Why do you think that? Like, what do you mean specifically?
Like, specifically this topic, they're like, why should we care about something that we're just going to continue to do anyways?
Like, I'd rather talk about that. And I guess we did a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like we're like trapped.
Yeah, we drew a box and we were in that box.
And we made the box.
And we made the box. I'm totally fine.
And we like the box. The box is like our little home.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
the box is also catered to us. Like, we plastered our little like construction paper. We put it all over the walls.
We
and
did.
it's
We
our
put
little
stickers
box.
on it.
And any like the concept of like anything I don't like, I can kick out of my box, right? So that everything's my own little world and opinion. And
Right.
that's why it's so funny. See how I'm more excited now because I have something to talk about.
Now I'm excited about what you want to say.
Have you ever there's two contradicting things, like the two ideas where like a motivational speaker will be like, make sure that you follow people that don't share the same opinions as you so that you can learn and know what the other side of this opinion is saying and read things about it, and just like that way you've rooted your own opinion in research, evidence, lifestyle, whatever. And then there's the opposite where like, don't let negativity in your life, or like you shouldn't follow things that bring negativity into your life or that you don't believe in or whatever. Like, if like unfollow people who don't align with your life and your values and like your beliefs, so that it's a safer space when you're on your platforms.
Sure.
But you see how those two things contradict each other.
Absolutely. Are you saying that because they are contradicting, that they're giving off different messages?
Well, yeah, it's just and you don't have to like choose one or the other, but like it's just kind of funny to me how you can either create your space where you're allowing things to enter, or you are intentionally putting things away.
I think that's a very deep value in yourself that I recognize.
What do you mean?
You construct your own box. Like, you very much have created the pretty box on the wall that you are now inside, and you choose what comes in and what does not.
Do you mean like me specifically as a person, or do you mean like...
Yes, you specifically as a person. Like,
she's looking at me like with a weird smile.
Well, the reason why I say it is because, this conversation is very different, right? It's not
this is what people don't talk about. People do talk about their phones listening to them or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, like that to me is interesting because people don't give a shit about it. Like, they literally could care less that their whole world has changed because of one thing.
Yeah, you made the box, but you can customize it.
Yeah, and you customize your own box. Like, everybody customizes their own box. I sometimes have a door, though, that opens the box, and I allow things to come in and out. I'm like uncomfortable conversation, things that people think that they don't want to talk about.
Yeah, but when you said that, okay, so when you said like you very much constructed, when you're talking about me and how I've constructed my own box, is that different than you talking about you having a door in your box?
Correct. I think you have some...
You think I'm a closed off person?
No, I think you have a perforated brick wall. You have like holes in your brick wall that you choose.
What?
And
perforated brick wall.
Yeah, it's just you there. This is not a criticism.
She described me as having a brick wall, guys.
It's not a criticism. It's just that you value specific things, right? Like we talked about earlier about high school.
You're right. Yes.
You value
I have a brick wall in
things.
the sense that like
you
can't sway my certain opinions on certain things.
You are very strong in your foundation.
You're so right. You're like loosey goosey. You're like
my door is always
like
open.
A curtain.
Like my doors are always open. I'm a curtain, I'm a drape, I move it as I please, and I'm okay with that because I like to be challenged in that way. I like to question myself.
Okay. I like the perforated brick wall thing now. I'm okay with it.
But my point about the perforated brick wall is not just because that you have a strong opinion and a strong stance in your life. It's just that you pick and choose what hole you look out of quite often.
What does that mean?
Like, you'll say, like earlier we're talking about social media and technology and influence, and you're like, this is not really fun for me. I'm like, because you're choosing to look out the one hole. Like, you if you would put the wall down, you would see that there's like multiple connections as to why this could be influential for you to talk about. However, it's important to have a perforated brick wall in many regards because you don't want so much information coming at you all the time where you can't have an opinion. And this comes back to consumerism and influence.
I just feel like having a perforated brick wall allows you to see other opinions, like be educated, right? Be woke, and then add a brick where you need to add a brick, or remove a brick if you need to add a brick.
And I think that can be positive and negative, because like are some of the bricks the hill you'll die on?
Probably.
And hopefully yes, like your faith and your family and
Yeah,
your love
exactly.
for, you know, do you think that you have created bricks in places that should be like paper? You know what I mean? Like, have you ever been able to like are you able, again, not a
No, I just
criticism,
feel
just
like
observation.
it's interesting that because the picture that you're painting inside of my head is like I instinctively I'm feeling a little defensive about it, right?
Right.
I'm trying to be open about it.
Yeah, and it's not a
And
criticism, it's just observation.
I feel like I don't know if I like the idea of like what am I trying to say here of bricks because of I feel like rather I like my bricks and my opinions and my because it's built me, it's my box, it's who I am, right?
Right. Right.
And rather the ones that I feel like anything that should be removed or anything that is more like rocks or more like something like that's not permanent or
Things that are heavy,
like sand like like something that can become more concrete or fade not
well, you might have brick but you don't necessarily have mortar. I know this is a very like architectural metaphor here, but like
we're like really hung up on the metaphor, but it's interesting.
I think it's interesting because it really describes you and I as a person, and
okay,
it really leads into this idea of consumerism.
I feel like you think my bricks are bad.
I don't think your bricks are bad. I think some of your bricks are very opinionated and they're very strong and they're very much like you touch my brick, I will throw one at you. And
I throw one at you.
And it's not about like painfully.
Is this because I made fun of your
like...
tattoos? I'm sorry.
That's so good. Yes, Lauren. How dare you criticize my art?
I only
my permanent art
because I'm sorry. I do,
but like you know how. But okay, so I'm gonna play devil's advocate for someone who
okay.
doesn't know you. That commentary about my tattoos would be offensive for someone.
Oh yes, and
because it's an active choice.
And
I
would say like, oh, I only do it because you're my best friend. But I even hate it when people say that, like,
right?
Because I think I've said this before, like the people who are like, oh, I'm only making fun of you because I like you, or like because you're cool, and I'm like, okay, you're just mean. That's why you're doing it. Like that's the reason.
Right. And for me, I'm okay with that commentary because I know you and I know that you're not vindictive and you're not actively being malicious to me. You're being playful. However, that kind of behavior with your little brick wall could really pack a punch.
But I would never do that to
correct.
Correct.
Yeah. So that's why I'm saying like having this foundation that you have created allows you to pick and choose what you allow into this little box and what you do not.
Yeah, I feel like I'm in control of my own box.
I am definitely not
I definitely
all the time.
Don't like I don't know, do you think I'm judgmental?
Well, I mean, I think everybody's judgmental.
True.
What do you want to describe that as? Good, bad, ugly? You know, it's you literally walk down the street and you have an opinion about something.
Well, yeah,
that's called influence.
Judgment is a defense mechanism. And
people think the word judgment is negative.
Yeah. I feel like I'm very much in charge of my own box. I have my bricks. I would never say that I would throw a brick at somebody else, and I don't think that I'm judgmental. Like if you want to have whatever kind of box you have, it's fine.
Have the box you have, as long as you're not a jerk about it.
You have. Yeah,
but like
I feel like I do that.
Yeah, and I might sound like
I feel bad.
Well, I hope I'm not. My box is very much solid on three sides and very flimsy on one another. Like the consistency I have about like certain foundational elements that like I'm okay with not being shoved on. People know that about me. Those are the choices that I consider a deal breaker in my life, right? But there are other ways that
I feel like there's not like that much.
What do you mean? About me?
No, I feel like you're a very open person.
Oh,
who goes through a lot of change, right?
Oh, yes.
And so I feel like the foundation that you have.
It's got real weird.
Wait, no. What did you think I meant?
I am very picky and particular about a lot of things, but like to some people that might be maybe a more open opinion. But like I am very particular, and I think that's
about what? I feel like you're just like a details person.
Well, I am about the.
But I feel like as overall like elements that build your box, is pretty.
I'm curious
like-
about what you think my foundation is, because this makes me feel so good. But I think
No,
I
feel
want
like, okay, here's what I think your foundation is. I think your foundation is literally the there's not even much that comes to mind. Like, be a good person, your family, and God, but not anything specific, not a specific branch of Christianity or.
Oh, sure. Can you
I feel like-
compare me to like something with you specifically, because that might help me draw more conclusion.
like my bricks or
Yes.
my.
Yes.
So my bricks are like Christianity. I'm a Catholic, but that brick's like a chipped kind of like old brick. Like what are things that I feel strongly about? The things that make me.
Are you saying
Are
as specific as like sobriety?
Yeah, that's what is like off the top of my head, but that makes it seem like, I guess that is something that builds me. It doesn't mean that that is a brick that has a window right next to me. Like I don't care like what other people do. Just for me, that's a brick in my life, and it is what it is, and it's there, and it's not going anywhere.
I think if we talked about my bricks, it would be a conversation you're very uncomfortable with.
What are your bricks?
Because mine would stem a lot into like relationships, like my do's and don'ts of who I allow into my life and how I allow them to act around me.
Why do you think that would make me uncomfortable?
Well, it's just, if we want to get specific, like behavior that my friends have, or if I'm in a significant relationship, I'm very picky and particular about certain things that I will not allow to be swayed on. And
well, I think okay, yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like of course,
I think I was thinking more like broad, like bigger topics.
Oh yeah, of course. And that's why I think I said I have, strong elements around me, but there's a lot of fluid to that. I wouldn't necessarily say that like I'm a box that's paper and I'm flimsy and you can convince me anything. No.
I'm picturing like a
straw
window with the sheer curtains like blowing in the wind.
I love this.
That's what I picture as your
This
box.
is the best conversation we have had, and I'm just putting it down there.
I don't think so. I'm like, I don't know why it's making me nervous.
I think this is just because we're starting to really get into being raw.
It's making me like uncomfortable. Not uncomfortable.
Good. I hope you're uncomfortable.
Okay, I'm trying to think of more of my bricks.
I want to talk about
my
why
bricks are like I don't really like I don't sway at peer pressure. Like my bricks are
right.
Like I do not like this and that. Yeah, things I allow. Yeah, I don't know. What are we talking about? We're talking about, this is a really deep metaphor.
No. Let me bring this to a point though. What I'm saying and why I brought this up anyways is because you want to talk about how specific choices and matter of facts that we have in our life are influenced by, society, norms. You're talking about, why do I choose specific things? Why do I walk down a different path than you? Why am I willing to die on this hill? And I think that is because
think we have to compare.
No. It's not about comparing. I'm not putting us against each other. I'm saying our choices are so different because we are influenced and we are surrounded by different things. My flowy, drapey house that I have created of fluidity.
How are we influenced by different things? We literally.
Well, I have very strong opinions about things like.
But I feel like. Go ahead.
Like drugs, alcohol, tattoos, sex.
But that doesn't like matter to me.
And I don't think it has to. What I'm saying is that.
I just feel like we have the exact same influence.
I would disagree because the reason why I disagree is because what are you consuming all day? Like, what are you surrounded by? What do you listen to? What are you reading?
Okay.
What are you updated on? I watch YouTube makeup dramas. I listen to really exotic podcasts.
I don't think those things matter.
Well, how? Of course they matter.
No, I'm talking about our influence is the same. We are two white women. We're the same age. We grew up in the same area. We have similar families. We both have stable families. We have good education. Like we are like how we talked about this at the very beginning in like our first or second episode. We are the same upbringing, but we're very different people. More about how did that happen? I don't think that happened. I feel like we have the same life structure influence.
We have
I'm not
the same...
talking about I'm not talking about what I consume on my phone is shaping my life.
Right, but you're saying that, like...
It's shaping my bricks. Because your bricks were there when you were 5 years old.
Yes.
Before the internet was a thing. So I'm not even talking about that.
But, like...
My bricks were there when I was in 8th grade, right?
Right.
So,
but I don't think... I think it's not by chance. Like, you know, you're saying we have similar demographic lifestyles. We have very relevant and similar belief systems. True, but also that really... My foundation might be on the outside looks the same, but it's structurally very different.
Yes. We're just very different people. And I don't think that's all due to influence.
No, I think that's due to a lot of things of education and upbringing. But, like, at one point I went left and you went right.
True. Very true.
Very little. It was not even just like me going to college and you went off to school too. It was just we were literally growing up on the same street with the same things around us. We rode the same bus. We ate the same foods at lunchtime. We had similar friends. But at some point in that very young portion of our lives, I literally went the other direction.
Yes. No. Yeah, you're totally right. So why is that?
And I think it has everything to do with all of the things I'm saying.
Like what?
Like, okay.
Like makeup YouTube tutorials?
It does. It consumerism has such a
But we had
strong
those things before we even, like, were able to buy anything.
Right. So I'm, like, the logistics of it would be, like, the books,
I think of the
clothes,
like,
the TV. My mom can't be the only, like, my mom's opinions and her ways of raising us are not the only ways of me believing this. It's also experience. It's trauma. It's literally emotional distress that has created the division.
Yes, and
it's not dramatic.
More accurate. Yeah, I think that are the things that, like, my bricks are shaped out of, like, fear, shaped out of, like, perfectionism,
and mine are this is great because mine are shaped out of, like, shame and guilt and anxiety.
Really?
Yeah, because that's just how I was raised, and it was just like, and it has nothing to do with, like, I'm not saying how I was raised as in, like, my family. I'm saying what was surrounding me, my environment, my education.
But we had the same environment and education.
We were in the same environment, but was our environment the same? How were your friends influencing you?
And you perceived it. Yeah, Emma had,
correct. Your
Emma
perspective.
Had very, very different friends than me.
I did, and I had friends that went through.
But none of my friends have, like, any of the same bricks as me, right? Like, I don't feel like anybody has this, like...
No, I hear you. But again, it goes back. I think it's honestly a pendulum. It's constantly going back and forth between home life and social life and media and consumerism. And, you know, it's a constant circle of everything that is influencing one another. And I say influence because you literally walk into the door of the school. And depending on how your friend interacts with you,
yes.
You know what I mean? Like,
and like
I went through a lot of loss as a child, right? I lost a lot of family. I grew up a lot quicker than most of our friends because I was going through a lot more painful emotional distress. You know, I had friends that lost their parents. It was a lot of diversion of what is reality and what is something that I am creating as reality. It's a lot of unsureness.
And I didn't go through a lot of loss or trauma or, well, I mean, you know, whatever, or things like that. But it's just so interesting because I feel like I don't know what I was going to say, but now I'm trying to circle back.
I think you don't even realize. I think a very good thing that you were trying to get to earlier was, like, our family dynamics were very much the same, but the family created this environment that was so different.
Correct.
And your ability to
I just
think your ability to freely walk around, metaphorically, you know, you had to tell them when you gave you the influence ability. Or gave you the ability to choose
To choose,
how you
yeah.
wanted to proceed.
Oh, you were talking about feeling like you grew up quicker than most. I feel like I was quite literally a 40-year-old in a 12-year-old's body.
And that goes back to what you said
Why
earlier.
Is that?
I
didn't go through a lot of because I had like
they spent so much time around adults and you were there all the time.
Yeah, okay, I feel that.
Micro moments, miniature moments have the greatest impact. You think that spending time and playing with your Barbie dolls next to a group of adults is no big deal, but in reality, you're constantly hearing everything that goes around you. And that becomes your reality and your way of saying, my environment was like, I was always around adults all the time. That's a big deal.
Or like, yeah.
You know, if you and I were in a group of friends together and you're feeling this like awkward and unsureness, it's because you're like, Emma, why do you care about those things? They're not important. And I'm like, they're important to me. You know what I mean? And it has everything to do with what is surrounding you. And that's why I think, you know, life is a really large pendulum.
And I feel like when you're one of those people who is just like, sometimes in situations when I'm in a group of people who are influenced or like I'm, you know, I have a brick that nobody else seems to have. Sometimes it feels like I am the only person with glasses.
Sure.
Which like can sound cocky in certain scenarios or whatever, but sometimes it feels like I'm the only person who's formed my own opinion about in this specific group of girls or friends or whatever.
But think about how important that is in a larger scale. You somehow have this idea that your bricks are not only leveled and they are formed, but you can't even imagine why someone else wouldn't have something of that nature at a young age. Now you have a educated perspective. The glasses are becoming clearer. You see
at a
things.
Young age, but I think it's a little. I'm thinking that's like a little bit separate. I'm not saying like why don't you have this brick. I'm just saying like how can you not see the potential to pick up this brick and put it in your like box? That is brilliant, Lauren, and that is such an important factor of life because you have not only like loved this brick, you have put this brick down, you have created a moment for this brick. I have to explain why I have this brick every time I'm in a group of people or whatever. And you're like, get off my brick. And I'm not talking about sobriety. I'm not like... No, there's other things that are important to you that you literally... I love this phrase that's going around. Here's a trend I like to hop on. Literally the hill you'll die on. Because, but what's different though, and I think this is the disconnect you have with some friends or coworkers, is just like, you nourished this brick of yours. Not only did you believe in it, but you saw it through and you see the benefit of it over time for your life. And I'm looking at your bricks like, whatever. Like, or I'm like, I have a prettier brick than you. Like you're looking at my brick like, oh my gosh, like why is her house so like plain and bland? No, you're like, why is her house a fortress? Like, what are you trying to get at? Seriously. But think about how much that has established you as a human. I think people for the record, I think your box is like really pretty. Oh, I know. And I'm like, I'm going to draw this box for me and I'm going to put it on Google or on Instagram I want to draw your box. Okay, I'm going to draw your box and you're going to draw my box. No, we're going to put it on Instagram. Let's each do our own, like both, so that we can compare. No, I agree. But like, Lauren, I find this conversation to be very thrilling for me because I've literally been shaking for like, I don't know, 10 minutes. Are you shaking? No, because this is what Lauren, let me just get this out. It's because of my bricks? It's because of your bricks. Okay, I have gone through a life of unknown things, right? We always talk about how my memory is trash. Yes. I can't recall things for the life of me. Everything that has happened to me has created roadblocks where I have cut off the ability to see things. I do not have foundational bricks like you because there is a strong disconnect in my life. Don't talk. Hold on. Pause. You're shaking right now because you're so sturdy in the things that you do. These conversations are not one of your bricks. You do not have these conversations. I have these conversations all the time with my family. We punch each other's walls down.
We get uncomfortable. We talk about the things that make us feel weird. I go to therapy for this. I'm like, let's break down why I'm so shitted on and why my brain is just blown. And it's just like, I like it. You're like shaking over there. I'm like, I'm pumped up. The adrenaline is racing through me right now. I'm like, tell me more, Lauren. Break your walls down, Lauren. Teach me, Lauren. And you're like, yeah,
well, you're saying, like, I feel like you're saying like my bricks are shaking because I don't have these conversations. I feel like I don't have these conversations because of like the glasses thing.
But are they always glasses? Are they not glass?
What? Like, why would I break down a wall of bricks? Like, I like my bricks.
Well, that's the reason.
No, but I feel like, and I'm just saying,
foundation is different. Walls are different. Your foundation can be sturdy and can never break. We love a foundation that doesn't crack.
Okay, so now my box is like like a 200, is that a lot? 200,000 square foot mansion of only bricks under my feet.
I think you have interior walls that are literally punchable, but your exterior walls are so sturdy that every time I walk through this maze of your mansion, guys, get on this metaphor. It's quite great. Okay, but every time I'm in your house, in your box,
oh my god,
and I want to go around a wall, you're like,
What? What are the walls? What walls
I don't know.
do I have?
Well, that's
what do you
where
mean you don't know?
Well, I don't know you, Lauren. I can't break down your core.
What do you mean you don't know me?
No, Lauren, I didn't discover moments of me until I had to go see a professional because I'm curious about those memories that I don't have.
Like,
right?
What thing? Like,
I don't know.
I feel
I'm not
like
saying
we
that
were
you're
talking about one
traumatized.
thing, and now I feel like we're talking about like.
But see, this is all about influence. You have been probably taught at a very young age. Stick to your guns, believe in your system,
No.
you know, but it doesn't even, and I, again, teaching, I'm not saying mom and dad, I'm not saying brothers, I'm not saying aunts and uncles, I'm saying what has been consumed in your life, your environments have given you the ability to choose that I want to be more solid in these ways.
I don't know. I don't. I'm trying to figure out why I'm shaking, and I don't think that's it. And I think know why.
I think this is why.
You really don't think you're just
no.
like,
I didn't say it yet. I'm saying this is why. You probably don't think it's that deep.
No, that what? Like what?
Like it's probably not.
We're like 10 metaphors in. This is pretty deep.
I know we're deep, but I'm saying is like maybe it's just not something that's on the radar. It's not something that like I'm very in tune with my body and myself at all times, and that's just because I have chosen to do so. Because I've learned how much my environment.
I mean, like, am I not?
Well, I don't know. And I'm not saying because you and I are friends that I don't know you.
I feel like
but
you
like,
think I'm closed off.
Well, there are moments where I do think you're very closed off because you have this strong opinion about certain things, but that's on different topics that we haven't even gotten to yet. I think you're very strong in your opinion about a lot of things, and I think that can sometimes influence you to choose not to be more fluid and open to others. But that doesn't mean anything about your person. What I'm saying to you is that I don't necessarily know who Lauren is as a person because I'm not in your brain. I don't know how you genuinely react to different things. I know how you are humor. I know your humor. I like your
like
style.
how I outwardly react.
Correct.
But you're making me seem really like harsh and judgmental.
But again, it hasn't. I don't think you're judgmental in the negative way that the world thinks judgment means. I think that you're very strong in your opinions and your belief systems because you know how beneficial it is to nurture those bricks. However, with me, there are moments where I'm like, yeah, I don't really have an opinion about that. Or like, that's really not important for me. But that's because I'm okay with that kind of mentality. I don't think that's a bad thing.
And I hear you. And I think like what you said about yourself, about not having opinions about things. I kind of feel like that's true for who you are right now.
Absolutely. And again, right now in this moment. It's so funny.
Like when we were growing up, you were so opinionated.
And
it was like
God.
one way. It was
yes.
like the the shutters of the window were open one direction, and then the shutters of the window would be open the completely opposite direction, right?
And
they would be
that.
there.
And think about how crazy
and then that turned
must
into
have
a
been.
curtain.
And I'm like a mid-century drape, I think, to think. But like, can you see how crazy what it must have been for me as a kid? Like, I don't recall those moments.
You were all over the place.
Right? And like, I wonder why. Was it my household that was all over the place? I don't know. Was it my friend group? Probably. Was it my inability to make a decision, to learn? What if I was just like so overwhelmed with information? I was like, I don't know what to believe. I don't even know where to stand right now.
So you just like pick something.
So I just chose something. I was influenced. I liked being a part of the trends of high school and grade school.
Okay. I see that.
You know, you were like, Emma, don't do that. That's stupid.
Or
and I was like, let me do it.
Instead of, I wanted to say like, at least you would give it a try, but I don't even want to say that because like, you more than give it a try.
I went head first into everything. I was like,
I am this.
I was not about to like, oh man, I'm just thinking of
you would be like, oh, I'm going to give this a try, but I am like 100% like head deep into this mud. And then I will drag myself out of the mud.
Yep. And then you'll be right there in your long chair telling me, you know, I
will. Yeah. And I am like on the side of the mud, just being like, hey,
nah,
happy, like, good to see you.
You're like, was it worth it? And I'm like, no.
I would be like, hey, how's the mud? And you'd be like, it's great. And I'd be like, okay.
And then you'd be like,
but
check in an hour.
And the mud was like, not that the mud was bad or like whatever.
The mud could have been bad for all I know. The mud was horrible.
Welcome to the Oakview podcast where we only
Guys,
speak in metaphors.
I just want to say this is the kind of crap I like talking about with Lauren because I need a break from like having an opinion about worldly
I feel like
things.
This is like
this is the stuff that I want our podcast to be about, and Lauren's like, oh my god, I can't get into my feelings right now. I don't want to. I'm like, do it now. This is the raw Lauren and Emma. This is not the buttoned up. Okay, welcome to the Oakview.
I feel like you're like relaxed, and I am like not.
I am like on
I am
fire
not enjoying
right
this, but at least like I am like into it.
You're entertained, aren't you?
My
levels are so loud. I'm
You're
so
going
loud right
to
now.
what is the quote that Ron says when Harry Potter gets the teacup that shows he has the Grim, and he says, "You're gonna be hurt, but you'll be happy about it."
You're gonna oh yeah. What is it?
That's what's coming to my head right now.
You're gonna suffer, but you're gonna be happy about it.
Yeah. And I feel like that, but not like swap happy for like mediocre.
And that's fine. But like
I feel like before this, I was like, Emma, we need to talk about something deeper. And Emma was like, let's dive as deep. Like I was talking about like ocean, and you were like at the Earth's core.
I was like, I'm in the mantle right now. Where are you? Can you swim? It's really hot down here. Again, another metaphor.
You were supposed to say how high, okay?
How high are we jumping?
And I was supposed to tell you how high, and you exceeded that.
You stopped at the Mars rover. I'm over on Jupiter right now, just trying to swim through the gas. Okay, like we're working on it. I like to know this is okay because Lauren, I have
You're
known
stressing me out.
I'm really proud about that. I just want to let you know.
Okay,
and this is why, because I have said this countless times with you. I cannot stand surface level conversations with my surface level friends. We
just had one at the beginning of this podcast,
and I'm so glad that we were able to say pause. This is not working because this is not who we are. Scratch that. Let's try something different.
Okay. We need this conversation to go somewhere so that I feel better about it.
Okay. Well, let me get out of my emotional trauma and I'll come back.
You don't have...
Let me walk up the stairs for a second. Hey, Lauren, how are you? Welcome to the Oakview.
Lauren is deceased. Lauren cannot speak right now.
I cannot. Well, the reason why I love this kind of stuff with you is because, like, I will kick you out of my friend group if we don't dive this deep. And I've known you my whole life.
Who? What other people are you talking this deep with?
Girl, I can name a few, but I can't name a lot more than like my 3 fingers. Okay, and that's good. I'm okay with that. But like, I can get deep with all of my friends. Maybe not this deep, or they don't care enough to be this deep. But like, I max out my friend group, right, at like 5 people. Okay, if you know who you are. But like, I can't. My brain and my body cannot physically give the energy to the people who are like, hello, hi, how are you? What's going on? How's work? I do not care. I don't care. I want to talk about things that make a difference.
That's how I feel about what we were talking about at the beginning of this episode.
And thank you for pulling me out of the water. Thank you for saying, like, this is not important and we can cut those moments. But I think a good portion of this is really good conversation. This is Lauren and Emma on a raw, deep level.
I agree.
This is the podcast I wanted to do. This is the voice that I'm trying to have. I want friends.
Okay, so we're talking about... Okay, no, continue.
Wait, I was saying
Sorry.
Let's not leave it at I want friends. I don't want any more friends. No, I want people like the people who are listening to our podcast to feel free to chime in on this kind of conversation. Give me a call. You know what I'm saying? But I also want this podcast to be very aware that, like, I'm not trying to impress anyone. I would like more people to participate. I would love to interview more people that have better knowledge than me. But also, like, Lauren, I want to know you at your core. Point blank.
You want to know. Yeah, like you were saying, you don't know me. You want to know my brain.
I want to know what you genuinely think.
Okay, we should run through scenarios and I'll tell you my thought process.
Well, we'll do that next time on the Oakview. But like, that's so important to me because I think I can be a better friend for you when I can recognize moments like this. We had a conversation very early on in our podcast that we did not air for that very reason. You got very into something and you're like, I cannot talk about this. And I was like, why? Well, one, it would be, disrespectful or something or whatever we were saying. And I'm sitting here like, Lauren, you're super uncomfortable right now.
Like, I'm going to die.
Like, Lauren was like, shaking to death in her chair. And I was like, girlfriend, like, that to me is like, that is you. This is you. These are the moments where I'm like, Lauren, I know you. I know who you is. That's all I'm saying. I'm about to know you better than Tim. I'm just saying.
Well, I thought I knew you, but maybe I don't.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. I'm like, I don't think you really do know me.
Ouch.
And it's not a stab.
Yikes,
or anything.
That's scary though to think about.
It is scary, but it's like how much of this is a nice question.
This is really scary.
Of our internal thoughts, choices, decision making, process of thinking do we really share out loud? My reservations, mine
20%.
Maybe mine's like, 15%. People would think that I'm crazy with my process thinking. And not like, psych ward crazy, but I'm saying like...
Yeah, I guess, do we need to learn how each other thinks now? Like not even like things like at a top level, but like literally very in depth.
Well, I don't know. Is that something that you want to do for our friendship? Because not every friend group wants that. Well, I just want to be able to say that, like, Lauren is not just my best friend because she knows my favorite color and knows that I don't like chocolate and I like dogs and I don't like children and I like to, get tattoos that are not approval for Lauren. But I'm saying, like, I want Lauren to say, like, well, this is my opinion, right? I feel this way about people I care about. I want Lauren to look at me and be like, Emma is really not in a good mood. I wonder what happened. Not just, like, what happened to her at work, but, like, why did this specific thing bother you so much? And then break that down into, like, what about this bothers you? And then that would give you some insight onto how I process. And then, to me, that's how I can become a better friend, because I can be like, hey, I know that this is not something that you like, or you do like. What do you think? That's too much for Lauren.
I cannot compute. Like, I'm fine with you 100%, and I have nothing to, like, I agree.
You know what I mean?
And that's all I have to say about that.
Right on. Moving on. How do you want me to come back?
This is insane. I don't even know. I'm on Mars.
I'm on Jupiter.
Just come to Mars. Okay.
Okay, I'll come back to Mars. Hold on. I'm driving my spaceship. If everybody can't see it, I have like my little wheel out. Okay, I'm back on Mars.
Oh my gosh, you were on another level today.
I think it's because I took some Excedrin because I had a headache.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. But Lauren,
What do you feel like you've gotten out of this?
I think if anything, I've learned that there is a deeper level to our friendship that we haven't even tapped into.
Oh my gosh, how is that even possible?
And that's crazy because I've known you for over 20 years.
How is that possible?
But it's possible. Like,
I wonder if we guessed how each other thinks, like how accurate our guess would be.
I have a feeling it would be pretty accurate.
I think so too.
I
But
really
maybe
do.
I'm totally wrong.
But I think the problem with that is not about, like, it's not the how that we can't guess.
It's the why
what
behind it.
and the why, yeah. You know, like, I'm pretty sure that certain things I believe in, my foundational bricks, you know, if we're going to keep that up, it has everything to do with the things that happened
Mhm.
to me and for the people that have been and left my life. And thank God for that, right? Like, I'm so not the same person I was 4 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
My friend Megan, not your friend Megan, my friend Megan said this to me the other day. She's like, can you imagine what would your 18-year-old self say to you right now, Lauren, about your life? Because my 18-year-old self would look at me and be like, who are you?
My 18-year-old self would be like, seems about right.
See, and look at how amazing that is. That to me is incredible. I'm over here like, this was not part of the plan. You went where? You did what? How did you get here? You're buying a house? You know, like the craziest things that have happened to me.
Yeah. And even behind that, why is that? How is that?
Look at how much stronger we both are. Not just because I went on a wild rampage of change, but that if anything, I think your 18-year-old self would be so proud of you because you not only stuck to what you believed in, but you actively went out of your way to make sure that Lauren was happy and she was going to get to where she wanted to go. And I find that to be the most amazing thing about you. And I'm going to cry now. Oh my God. Whoa, that took a turn. Whoa. I somehow am on Pluto.
Are you okay?
I'm okay. No, I'm fine.
I feel like that's funny. I feel like I also, on the comedy side, like my humor in me, that 18-year-old self would be like.
She's like, you're funny.
I would be like, cool, everything works out. I'm not going to try as hard anymore.
My 18-year-old self would be like, Are you okay?
I'd be like, no worries.
You'd be like, I think I'm just gonna chill.
Like,
versus me, I'd be like, well, if that's the case, I'm gonna go crazy. You know? Yeah, I agree. Amazing, Lauren. Amazing.
What do you think your 18-year-old self would be like?
Like looking
not
at
even
me?
your 18-year-old self. Like what? Yeah. Okay. Like what do you think your 18-year-old self would be like? Do you feel like because you're so different? Do you think you'd be like surprised? Do you? I don't even think this is correct. I want to say like, do you think your younger self would be like, wow, I was so wrong about XYZ. But even in the moment, you weren't wrong about it.
I think that's why it's so important that I continue to say, in this moment, I feel this.
Exactly.
Because full circle, here we go. In this moment, I was on the hill I was going to die on.
Yes.
And then someone pushed me. I rolled down like Jack and Jill, and I just like didn't get my pail of water.
You did die at it, and then you were reborn on another hill.
I was reincarnated as a flower.
You rolled down the hill and you climbed up another hill.
Absolutely. But do
you think that like the absolutes in your life are not actually absolutes? Or do you feel like they? Do you know
wow,
what I'm trying to say?
my house is starting to really look like how you described
what do your
it.
absolutes look like? What did you just say? Your house is starting to look like?
The house that you described mine as is very much what I'm thinking. And I'm like, wow, Lauren was right and I was a little bit wrong. I have more fluidity to my house than
That's
I thought.
what I'm saying.
And when you phrase it like that, it makes more sense to me.
What I picture, like wind blows, like you come and go with seasons.
Okay, but pause.
You're very open.
That's a very good point.
Transparent.
I'm very ever evolving seasonally.
Yes,
I am not changing. I am still the same ficus.
You can see through the window and you can see the four seasons.
Yes,
changing.
But like my house is not falling over. I'm not on fire.
No,
I'm not
stable.
building new homes.
It's like, like white frame. It is.
Yes.
it's
Yes.
sturdy. The foundation is like
Yes.
concrete slab,
Yes.
sturdy as can be.
And if anything, the most consistent thing about me is that I'm consistent. Like I am
like open,
loyal.
transparent. My
I am
brick house
yes.
has windows, but it is not transparent.
No,
I do not let people see everything.
One-way mirror, girl.
Not one-way mirror, but like I don't let people see every part of me.
I don't think I share every part of me, and people might think otherwise, but it's like you'd be surprised how much you don't know. And I do that for my own safety.
Like what I'm picturing, not even windows. There's not even windows on my box. There's just like literally like bricks missing that you can peer through.
Yeah, and only you can see out of them. People like on the outside are like, "Ooh, an architectural feature,"
no, I think
and you're like,
can
"Ooh,
see
a peephole."
Maybe
If you let them. But honestly, Lauren, the things I think I can describe in like full consistency is like how we did in the earlier episodes. I am loyal. I am consistent. I show up for myself and others.
Mm-hmm.
That has not changed. I have been that way my whole life. I have always had an abundance of people in my life because I love so hard and so fast because I see the genuine good out of people that when I am disappointed or something changes, I'm okay to move away. But the next thing that happens in my life, I'm so into it.
I feel like you are fully aware of your susceptibility to influence.
Yes. And I think that's so important.
And I feel like
me.
I am fully aware of my susceptibility to influence, but I do not act
like you don't
on
choose.
it.
You don't.
Yeah, I don't choose to be influenced, but I am aware of the. You know what I mean?
Brilliant. Honestly, Lauren, if I was standing in front of my 18-year-old self, she wouldn't be scared. She wouldn't be shocked. I think she would be overwhelmed.
Yeah.
My absolutes, like you're saying, they have flowed in many directions. You know how we always talk about points like 1, 2, 3, 4, and how we get to those points are very wavy.
Mm-hmm.
I've done all the things I have set myself out to do at 18. Get a bachelor's degree. Get a master's degree. Get your certification. Get your licensure. Blah, 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 blah. It happened. It's happening. I'm in a moment, right? All the other things in between that I was like, I want to be married and have children. I want a huge house on the hill with a countryside fence.
I feel like your 18-year-old self would just have a lot of questions.
She would be like, well, why did you do that?
But you were going to say something else and I interrupted.
No, I was just going to say, I don't feel those ways. Those are the flowy moments.
Mm-hmm.
But I think she would literally be like, okay, I'm going to bring out a notebook and let's take notes. Why did you do that?
Like,
which you went left?
She'd be like, wait, I need to know everything. And then if there was a time limit and you couldn't tell her everything, she would be like freaking out.
Yeah. She'd be like, wait, you're going to leave? You know, have you ever seen the movie, have you ever seen the movie The Timekeeper's Wife or something? Or like The Time Traveler's Wife? Time Traveler's Wife. Long story short, in the moment, their child can time travel. And her older self comes back and tells her a big thing about her to her younger self.
Okay.
And she's very self-aware. So when the big moment happens, she's not in shock.
Mm-hmm.
I would never want that for myself. I wouldn't want to be prepared. I wouldn't want to know about all the things that I'm taking notes on. You know, I don't want to change what has happened to me so that I'm where I am right now. I don't want that for me. I don't know. And that freaks people out. They're like, God, I wish I didn't do that. Or God, I made that wrong decision. Girl, you are where you are because of your stupid decision. And like, yeah, granted, it might have changed if you didn't do that. Maybe your life would be a little bit better if that didn't happen. And I'm so sorry for people who can't make differences and changes for themselves because of those moments.
Mm-hmm.
But I really strongly feel like it happened. It had to happen to you. I don't know. Well, I do know, but I don't know.
I agree with you.
You know, and whether that people call that God or the universe or whatever, it happened.
I'm picturing myself meeting me at 18, and I feel like it'd be so chill. It'd be like,
no, I think one thing would freak her out.
What?
You cut your hair.
No, like for real.
That would literally shake her core.
But it would be like, yeah, sounds about right. I'd be like, me now would be like, buy better clothes. It'd be like, cool. And it'd be like, don't try too hard. Work smarter, not harder. And it'd be like, not too many questions. It'd just be like, cool, don't do cringy stuff. Bye.
Would you still be in this position that you are now if you had all the knowledge you have?
My first instinct is yes. And my second instinct is yes.
Would you be as surprised, though, about all the good things that have happened to you? Not in like a, wow, I can't believe this happened to me, but more like a, wow, thank God.
I don't think I wouldn't be surprised, but it wouldn't take away any enjoyment that I like, even like anticipating it and then reaching that. I don't think it would take anything away from those moments. I just feel like they would feel fulfilled.
Yeah. Right on.
And I feel like me knowing it at 18 would just be a comfort. It would just be like relief, honestly, more than.
And I think that's why you have bricks. Because if
That's
you were
crazy.
If you were overly prepared and you knew things, you would have less
but also
anxiety.
You know what else I just thought about? What if I met myself at like 7 or 10?
Oh man.
Oh my God, that would have changed everything, right? Because at 18, like I knew I was smart or whatever, and I kind of knew what I wanted to do. Like I knew what I wanted to do at 25 now, and I did it. But at 10, that would have thrown. I don't even know what would have happened. It would have been like cannot compute, or it would have. I would have been like, cool, I'm smart, and I would have just like kicked it into high gear way early.
I think you would have had a lot of confidence. I think your confidence would have been astronomical because you thought all that time that you were a stupid kid.
Yeah, and
you weren't. You just didn't tap into that potential.
I feel like if you met yourself at 10, you'd be like, I'm so cool.
If
you would be like your own hype woman. You'd be like, dude, you should see me at 25. Like,
honestly, sometimes when Morgan gets really excited about the things that happen to me, like,
is that what it feels like?
It really feels like that. And I think I really, that's why I love being this kind of person for them, because when she's like, wow, Andy's going to be so close now. She's got this new house. Auntie's an architect. She's a builder. Just like when I build my Legos.
And think about that influence that you're not putting on her life, so that it's just like now she can have that confidence.
Right.
Because you are her older self when she's at this age. Boom. Think about that.
And honestly, I'm one of the 4 aunts who probably give her that joy.
Yeah.
And that makes me so excited. And then I go, if I was 10 years old and I said, Emma, you are going to be an architect and you are going to do this and this is happening, she'd be like, get my suitcase. We're going. Get in the bus.
She'd be like, that's relief.
Like, she's like, oh, she'd be so hyped, honestly.
Yeah.
And I think and that's just like the best feeling to know that like my younger selves, my parts of me are like, what's happening? Like, we're in a really good place. I love this for us. Get on board. And like all of my little people inside of me, I don't know if people know
like
what parts
you have
is.
you have parts of you.
Parts of like, well, everyone has
I'm
a
like
part.
a beanstalk. Not
at all. Everyone has parts. Every single year of your life is a part of you. But I think the best thing about you and I 1000%. Ask Candace. Ask any mental health professional. Ask anyone in development. Ask anybody in, parts work and, emotional connections.
Anyway, keep going.
I think all of my parts are geeking out that you and I are so close.
Yeah.
Because, like, all of our parts are connected. Mm-hmm. And, like, we're just like...
Yeah, that's so cute.
We have the best, like, all... I just
that's
picture
cute.
every... It is cute. I picture every single one of our little ages just, like, high-fiving each other. Like, yeah, we're best friends. We're the coolest group in the world. Wow, look at us.
That's so fun. That's so fun to think about.
And we're just, like, more solidifying that, like, our friendship is a brick wall. Full circle, everybody. Happy. Thank you for coming.
The end. Bye.
The end. Goodbye. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Wow. This has been the best 45 minutes of my life.
Oh, my goodness. Definitely more than 45 minutes.
But, like, the first hour, we're chopping off. Yeah, deep breath. That was good. This is the type of conversations that I want to have. Not all the time. I can't. I'll literally die. I'll just be exhausted.
Literally die.
But often, quite yes.
Thing that we should talk about at some point. Is you said, like 40 minutes ago.
Let the records show.
We
40
said,
minutes.
my bricks are made out of fear, perfection. Your bricks are made out of guilt and whatever.
Shame.
And shame. We need to talk about that a little bit too.
Yeah, I would love to. And I don't need to go deep on those levels, but I can be deep on those levels. You know how you always make fun of me because I always say, I'm a Virgo, I'm a perfectionist. That's part of my MO. I do feel that perfectionism is part of me,
Mm-hmm.
but it's heavily influenced by my bricks.
I don't always make fun of you. Okay, maybe I do. Do I?
I don't think always, but like you do. But I don't think I don't really take it as a mean thing.
Okay, good.
Lauren, I feel like I have known you a little bit better today.
I do too.
And think about that. Amazing. That's consumerism for you. Look at the world. Look at what it's doing to us.
I feel like we were not talking about consumerism like that much.
Well, no, we were talking. I'm sorry. We wanted to talk about consumerism as a capitalist perspective. I was talking about consumerism as literally everything else. How do you want to wrap this up?
I don't know. I don't feel like I feel like we have enough to wrap it up, but I don't feel better.
Okay.
That's okay,
Do you want to
though.
Do you want to be? Are you comfortable in that, or do you want to let that go, or do you want to try to be done, or do you want to try and connect that?
I don't know.
What makes you feel?
Well, it's
ready?
9:30.
Well, the time, yeah, but like, what makes this not?
I don't know.
Enough for
My
you.
stomach just hurts. I don't know why though.
Well, it's a lot. It's emotional. It's very.
You're hilarious.
I'm just saying, your stomach is in knots and my heart is racing. We're very the same person, right? If anything,
You're like so
everybody,
happy. You're enjoying this too much.
I am, and I think that's why I'm really into it. Guys, thank you so much for listening to Lauren and I go deep diving into our personal life. Maybe more so on my end than Lauren, but that's okay. You guys should think about what kind of brick house you have. I mean, a house. What kind of house is your house?
What's your box?
What's
What
your
does
box?
look like?
Is there a roof on your box? Think about it. It might help you understand yourself a little bit better.
And if it doesn't, call up your best friend and overanalyze it.
Really break this down, or pay someone for it because they probably have a better understanding than you know. I think next time, Lauren, we should really talk about something like sustainability.
You're right.
And that doesn't just mean sustainable materials, sustainable friendships. That's important too.
How to make your friendships.
How do you make your friendships last? Make sure you get the manual out for that one. That's funny.
As always, like, subscribe, share, rate, do whatever you want to do. And we will see you next week.
Thanks, guys. This has been another episode of the Oakview, a deep dive into our personal experiences. Come back, please. We would love it. Catch us next week. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank you again for listening to The Oakview. You can follow Lauren and Emma on Instagram at The Oakview Podcast, OAKVIEW Podcast, or email us at theoakviewpodcast@gmail.com.